what happened with Orinoco was I got a phone call. I think it was 1998. I mean, it's, it's quite 97 or something like that. I got a phone call from the Royal Shakespeare Company, from their literary manager, and he said that they were putting on a production of an adaptation. Orinoco, the book by Afroben, it was published in 1688.
Yes.
1688, and about 100 years later or so, someone 100 years, I think, um, a theater director called David Garrick did an adaptation which became a tract for anti-slavery. It was seen by thousands and thousands of people around for years in the West End of London. And they were about to put on that production, and they wanted an introduction in the voice of Afro Ben, and they wanted me to write it. And the truth is, I knew of Orinoco. I had it on my pile of books, but I hadn't read it. And so I read the book. It's a novella. It's very small, and I liked it a lot. And then they sent me the David Garrick play, and I hated it. I thought it was racist, even though it was actually an anti-race. It was an anti-slavery, but it was
Yes.
just full of pity, pity,
Exactly.
pity,
Exactly.
pity. And the thing with pity for me, it's like, when it's a form of sentimentality. It's a form of, and sentimentality is actually very cheap. It's you can be sentimental from here to the end of the world, and it doesn't cost you anything. It's completely different. So basically, pity. There's, okay, the kind of analogy. Some philosopher, I've forgotten who, actually gave this analogy once. The difference between pity, sentimentality, and compassion. Compassion is the different thing. Sentimentality and pity is when you see someone, you're walking across the bridge, you see someone about to jump off, and you kind of stand as far as away as possible and say, "Don't jump, don't jump." And it doesn't cost you anything. And compassion is if you actually put yourself in danger and you try to save them. That's totally different. Because compassion, you might die in trying to save that person. And what we get today, is sentimentality, is pity, pity, pity. It's cheap, it's free, it's completely useless. And that's what I found in the David Gary play. And I said to the RSC, I said, I don't want to do this. And they said, no, we want you to write something for us. What would you like to do? And I said, well, I'd like to go back to the original book, and actually, almost in the sense of like a jazz thing, I want to use it as inspiration for something else. But I'll be completely faithful to that. And I was just talking. I really didn't know what I wanted to do, but I was just talking. And they said, yes, go ahead, go. And I went away, and I wrote something that was based on Afrobean's book. I also took aspects from the David Garrick.
Yeah.
There were characters in it, and and I wrote this thing, um, which was a kind of hybrid. It was an adaptation, but not quite an adaptation. It was, I kind of used, something which only kind of exists, in hip hop music, where you're quoting. I was kind of quoting from here, quoting from there, but also kind of bringing my own. It was my composition, but I kind of took from here and there, and that was it. And for me, it was important that Orinoco himself was not this angel.
Yes.
You know?
Exactly.
I mean, he was a prince, and the people who sold Africans were the royalty. I mean, we're the kings and princes, and they were the people who actually sold us to, And so I felt that it was important to kind
So
of have someone who was complex, maybe even
exactly.
complicated,
Yeah.
not just this holier than thou, squeaky clean,